Greetings, everyone. So, what am I doing? I'm doing this video to assure you that I have not dropped off the face of the earth. And I was working on a video. Here's what the video was about. The video was about bug snacks and finding Caucasians in bug snacks. Why was I looking for Caucasians? The reason is simple. I did a video on Onimusha saying that if I take the story elements of the game and plug them into the Bible story, it would output to me what races actually perform those roles. So when we plugged in the story of the Genma, we got Caucasians. When we plugged in the story of the Oni, we got black people. And Nobunaga Oda was just Asians in general, which was basically siding with Caucasians to help enslave blacks. It's just how it is. So someone asked, hey, do bug snacks? I don't know whether it was a joke, but I looked at bug snacks. I found something. Bug snacks is about assimilation and how a certain race of people, that a certain race species that doesn't reproduce easily on its own will assimilate other races and try to eliminate them and turn the foreigners into whatever the bug snacks are. And I was going to show that in the Bible, that role is made by Greece because Greece tried to turn all races to make them act like Grecians, specifically targeting the Jews to eliminate the law. And I had an entire thing on that showing the idea of doing away with the law came from Greece. It did not come from Jesus Christ or Paul. And that when Greece was doing this, it wasn't just about ancient Greece, but it's a recurring thing through all Caucasians everywhere, to the point that the Spanish Inquisition had to do with trying to eliminate Judaism. In 70 AD, the Romans tried to eliminate the Christians by eliminating the Jews, because what nobody seems to understand is the original Christian doctrine was purely a Judaic religion. And also in 300 AD, I think it was Constantine tried to eliminate the Jews, saying that as the new Christians, they should have nothing to do with the Jews. And that in the 1500s, when the Europeans went to the New World, they interviewed the Native Americans and found that the Native Americans claimed to be descendants of Israel, and that they practiced Judaic holidays, and that the Mexicans claimed to be descended from the tribe of Issachar. And for that reason, the Europeans tried to eliminate Judaism by killing the Native Americans because the Native Americans were Jews. I was going to go through all that, but I realized that the amount of energy it was taking for me to make that video was not the amount of energy that I had. So I'm going to not do this video for a while. To the guy who asked for this, sorry. I just, life happens and I don't have the energy. I'm going to do something else. Most likely Final Fantasy. I'm going back to my roots with Final Fantasy. There's something I want to show. I want to get everybody on the same page. Speaking of the same page, there's something I need to talk to you guys about. There was an election just now. Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Now, you're probably wondering if I am Democratic or Republican. I don't give a dang about any of America's politics. As far as I'm concerned, the entire system can burn. Why? Because Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you vote for Kamala Harris. She's from India. She's not black. I've never heard of a black person named Kamala ever. In fact, isn't there a Marvel character named Kamala Khan? She's from India. Not even the most Muslim person names their daughter Kamala. How do you not? Anyway, she's from India. She's not black. She is racist against black people. Donald Trump is racist against black people. All people are racist against black. Even black people are racist against black people. Voting is nothing. There is no benefit to voting in the American system at all. Because to the point that even the Bible says in, I think it's Deuteronomy chapter 17 verse 13, to not set a foreigner over you, that whoever is going to be a ruler should be a king, which means a man person, not a woman, a man, and it needs to be a man of your own race, and not a president, but a king. So someone who is ruling over you permanently, not to be taken down in 4 years to be replaced by another race of people. And the point is, you say we need to vote because it is a benefit to your race and whatever. I'm going to try to put things into perspective. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, what is the single one thing that you need? I know you're going to say you need equal rights, so let's talk about equality. You try to go to Japan to try to make the Japanese like you. That's stupid. You know why? They don't need to like you. Do you know why they don't need to like you? You're in their country. They make the rules. You go to China. You want the Chinese to like you. They don't need to like you. You're in China. They make the rules. You go to Europe. You don't need the Europeans to like you. You're in Europe. They make the rules. Do you know what all these races have in common that you don't? They have their own countries where they make the rules. They have the legal ability to impose their will upon whoever enters into their country. If you think there's something that needs to be done, you know what you need? Your own country where you make the rules. You know how necessary that is? You know how necessary this is? The Bible says in Deuteronomy chapter 30, I think it's verse 5, that if God is happy with you, he will give you your own country. Why? Because according to God in the Bible, it is a basic thing to have your own country. So what's the one thing you should be seeking? Not equality. It should be your own country where you make the rules. So, how do you think voting is going to get you your own country? Because when the Israeli were killed, the Americans thought, oh, they needed their own country. It's a basic human right. When Japan was bombed, the Americans who bombed them thought Japan needs their own country rebuilt. That's a basic human right. But when blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans try to rebuild themselves and rebuild their own country, Americans say, let's bomb them. They shouldn't have their own country. It is wrong for them to think they should be independent. It is racist. So listen. Voting is nothing because the one thing that you need is something you can't vote for. They will never give it to you. You cannot vote to have your own country where you make the rules. They cannot set embargoes over you. They cannot make your laws for you. That basically you are a completely independent entity, where it's your land, your laws, your religion, your people, and if you don't want someone to be there, that's your business. They'll never give you that. So this is why voting doesn't matter, because you cannot get the one thing you need. It's funny because you say you want Caucasians to stop shooting you in the street. You know what'll make it easy if Caucasians to stop shooting you in the street? If you're in a country where there are no Caucasians. You know what'll make that easy? If you have your own country where you can decide who's the majority population. Anyway, it was something that was weighing on my soul recently. I'm tired of everybody complaining about you should have voted for Kamala Harris or black women saying that they don't trust men anymore because they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. And black women don't know what's good for black people. Don't listen to black women. Oh wait, something that's true. Never trust a black woman who straightens her hair. If she straightens her hair, she hates black people. There is one more thing that I forgot to mention. So everybody's talking about how they needed more voters, but here's the real reason why voting doesn't matter. It's because the popular vote does not determine the president. The Electoral College does. What does that mean? That means if all the people of the United States voted for a specific candidate, if a few select men in government decided they didn't want that person to be president, they can override all the votes of the entire population. Because people are stupid and they're only meant to be manipulated. They don't know what it takes to run a country, so you never leave the selection of rulership in their hands. For example, let's say all black people want to vote saying this president or that president will be good for black people. You stop a black person and you ask them, black people, what are you doing for the betterment of your own race? Black people shoot each other, rob each other, say evil things about each other, and commit abortions. And the women tear down the men, and the men don't even want to look at the women. And you realize they're so divided that they can't even take care of themselves. So if they can't take care of themselves, how are they going to choose a person who can take care of them? Like, if you don't know what it takes to be a benefit to your own people, how will you recognize a person who would benefit you? That is like black women. Black women are so toxic, right? They grew up in a toxic environment. So when they see a good man, they don't know what a good man looks like because they've never experienced it. That is what I'm talking about. For in the same instance, black people have never seen a leader that will take care of them, so they don't know what it looks like. So you can't leave it in their hands to select it anyway. American government understands this and will never let the people choose their leader. The only purpose of the election is to make you think you have a choice, to put in the news different things they want you to feel so that your mind becomes just like the mind of whoever's selecting the president. In other words, if the Electoral College doesn't want Kamala Harris to win, then they will put in the news reasons for you to hate Kamala Harris because they already selected Trump anyway. So your vote doesn't matter, and the election is just to get you to agree with what everybody else is what they were going to do in the first place. Get it? Anyway, so that was the end of my rant. I just wanted to get that out. If you voted, I feel sorry for you. You're an idiot. You don't know anything about the world because you think that voting is supposed to get you what you need. You're definitely not Christian because the Bible never instituted voting. And I am going to post a picture where there's this man who says, now that black people can vote, basically, let's give them a little some that'll make them feel like things are being done for them, but doesn't really change the situation. So they will continue to vote Democrat for the rest of their existence. In other words, the reason why Democrats exist is to make black people feel like they're heard when they're not doing anything to help you. And the reason why Republicans exist is to make black people feel like there's an enemy for them to unify against when they're just two heads of the same serpent. The only solution is to have your own country. So, you ask me, Mr. Lemex Effects, how do you get your own country? Well, Mr. Black Spec Native American man, here's the first thing you need to learn. You need to learn unity with your own race of people. Step 1, marriage. If you can't even unify in marriage, you're not going to unify in anything else. Because you are the highest of all divorces, you cannot claim anything about unity. I never want to hear black people claim that they can't unify with Hispanics because Hispanics treat them dirty, because Hispanics only treat black people the way that black people treat each other, because Hispanics are black. So when you stop divorcing each other at exorbitant rates, then you can talk about unity. Step 2, stop doing abortions. Because as long as you're doing abortions, you are in line with the death of your people and the limiting of your population. Black women say we should have had more black votes. Well, if you stop killing black children, you'd have more votes, huh? Step 3, stop committing crimes. Why stop committing crimes? Because if you keep murdering each other, you can't unify. And if you keep robbing each other, you don't want to do anything with each other. Stop committing crimes. You know, so many problems that blacks, Mexicans, Native Americans have are their own creation. You don't have jobs. Why don't you have jobs? You don't have jobs because black people can't be trusted. Stop killing each other. Why can't black people be trusted? Because black people are always trying to con each other. So if you stop trying to con each other, black people have more businesses, which means black people have more jobs to give each other. If black people and Hispanics were more hardworking, then they'd be more hireable, so blacks would be less cautious about hiring their own people. Because as it stands, blacks only want to hire outside their race. All your problems are caused by your own stupidity. And I'm not apologizing for calling you stupid. Because if you are smart, you will say, yes, my people are stupid. I'm going to not be stupid and actually do what needs to be done. Okay, I think that's the end of my rant. So all in all, the point is voting doesn't solve anything because America is never going to give you the things you need. And the things you need can only be created by you. So if you want to solve your problems, you need to stop causing them. Okay? That is all. All right, I'm going to go make a Final Fantasy video. Was I talking about Greece and assimilation and how they were a murderous race of people? You know what? I'm going to talk about the Aeons and how each Aeon in Final Fantasy X represents a doctrine that is in Christianity that was picked up by paganism. Because that seems interesting. And I want to do it. Next time on The Mex Effects.